Let's be real. Monkey D. Luffy doesn't just beat his enemies. He clowns them. Whether he's laughing in a warlord's face, walking into a Yonko's territory like he owns the place, or one-shotting villains who thought they were the main character, Luffy does it all with zero chill. And the wildest part? He's not even trying to show off. That's just who he is.
俺はモンキー D ルフィ。お前らを超えて海賊王になる男だ!
So kick back and let's take a ride through some of the most legendary, most savage, most downright disrespectful moments from our favorite rubber pirate. These are the times Luffy flexed so hard, the whole One Piece world had to pause and go, wait. Did he really just do that? Wano's front door? More like Luffy's doormat. Let's start with one of the most unapologetically Luffy moments in all of Wano. The Straw Hats had just arrived at Onigashima, Kaido's stronghold, filled with thousands of soldiers and guarded by a massive, fortified torii gate. Now, most pirates might take a moment to plan, sneak around, or maybe even try diplomacy, not Luffy. Before anyone could even blink, Luffy launches himself off the ship like a cannonball and smashes the front gate with a blazing red hawk. Boom! Just like that, guards are gone. The gate is gone. Kaido's security is toast, and Luffy? He doesn't even stop to explain himself. This man was ready to fight a Yonko's entire army for some food and drinks. Classic. Even his own crew had to take a moment like, did that just happen? It's not just the strength, it's the attitude. That gate wasn't just destroyed, it was disrespected. Dodging arrows like his in the Matrix. Still in Wano, right after destroying Kaido's gate, Luffy gets welcomed with a barrage of arrows. Dozens of enemies, all aiming at him and Luffy. He doesn't even flinch. This man was dodging arrows like he was catching a breeze on a Sunday stroll. It's not luck, it's observation haki at a level that makes you wonder if Luffy's playing chess while everyone else is playing tag. Every arrow was a miss before it was even fired. The guards were panicking. Why can't we hit him? Because my guy is literally seeing the future. That's why. The moment Eneru's ego got electrocuted, you can't talk about Luffy flexing without bringing up the iconic Eneru face. Eneru, the self-proclaimed god of Skypiea, had the Goro Goro no Mi, a Logia-type fruit that made him literally lightning. The man thought he was invincible. Until he ran into Luffy, because guess what? Luffy's made of rubber. And rubber? Doesn't conduct electricity. The first time Eneru zapped Luffy and nothing happened, his entire worldview shattered. That wide-eyed, jaw-drop face? That's the look of a man realizing he brought a flashlight to a thunderstorm. Eneru kept trying, the giant lightning monsters, thunder drums, everything. Luffy just kept beating him down, laughing like it was the funniest thing ever. God got humbled. Hard. Luffy vs. Arlong. A house and his ego collapsed. Arlong thought humans were weak. He enslaved Nomi for his selfishness, terrorized her village, and treated the Straw Hats like jokes. Luffy? He didn't just beat him. He demolished his entire legacy. Inside Arlong Park, his symbol of dominance, Luffy got angrier and angrier. Not because of Arlong's strength, but because of the pain he caused Nomi. And then came the moment. Luffy didn't just hit him. He brought the entire building down on him. That wasn't just a win, it was poetic justice. Luffy turned Arlong's pride into rubble. And in doing so, he gave Nomi her freedom back. Doflamingo thought he was untouchable, warlord status, ruler of a whole kingdom, born into power with celestial dragon blood. He was the ultimate puppet master, pulling strings for years, treating lives like toys while lounging on a throne like some unstoppable king, but Luffy didn't care about any of that. In one explosive moment, the so-called untouchable got launched into the sky, in front of everyone he ruled over. And the best part? That split second on his face, pure disbelief, like, did I just lose? Right before he got slammed through the streets and erased from the throne he built, the people who suffered under his control watched their self-proclaimed king get absolutely humbled in real time. That's what Luffy does, he brings giants down to earth. And Doflamingo? He learned that the hard way.
Dの一族をこう呼ぶ者たちもいる。神の天敵。
ゴムゴムのジェットピストル!
The king of disrespect strikes again, and this time, the target is none other than Blackbeard. This dude loves to hear himself talk, always going off about fate and power like he's narrating his own villain documentary. But the second Luffy's fist connected with his face? Pure gold. Blackbeard wasn't even remotely prepared for that level of humiliation. One of the absolute best things about Luffy is that he's always in sync with the audience's feelings. You know that moment when someone's being so annoying, you just wish someone would shut them up. Luffy's already in mid-swing before that thought finishes. But him punching Blackbeard? That's top-tier disrespect. A legendary flex on so many levels. Blackbeard's not just any villain, he's one of the most built-up threats in the story. A master manipulator, a guy who's been pulling strings behind the scenes and climbing the ranks by taking out some of the world's strongest. He's all about destiny, darkness, and domination. And Luffy? He didn't care about any of that. No speeches, no hesitation, just a straight-up punch that said, "Shut up." You know that hit rattled more than just Blackbeard's jaw. Now this was one of those moments that had everyone screaming when Luffy stepped in to block a full-force attack meant for his crewmate. That wasn't just bravery, that was a next level flex. See, he's the kind of dude who'll take a beating if it means protecting someone he cares about. And when someone messes with his crew, oh, it's game over. That's when he stops playing around.
悪いな。これで死ねなくなったろ。
鼻から分かってる。
He didn't even flinch when that massive, lightning-fast strike came in hot. He just threw himself in front of it, no second thoughts. That move right there? It wasn't just about power. It was about heart. What hits hardest is the loyalty. Luffy and Zoro have been through thick and thin, and this moment just sealed it. The bond is deeper than just captain and swordsman, it's real brotherhood. And honestly, we all need a friend like that in our corner. Luffy beats Enel. Watching Luffy completely demolish Enel was hands down one of the most satisfying moments in the entire series. Enel's second mistake was thinking he stood a chance against Luffy. But his first? Believing he was untouchable. And if there's one thing Luffy loves doing, it's breaking people who think they're above everyone else. Yeah, you guessed it, he beats them down and embarrasses them in the worst way possible. But Enel wasn't just some random dude. He thought he was a god. And get this, he turned himself into a massive lightning monster, knowing Luffy was made of rubber and literally weighed down with gold. Genius, right? It made watching his face twist in shock every time Luffy did something unexpected even more fun. The real kicker? That final moment when Enel realized he was the one getting launched. That's when it all came crashing down, the illusion of his godhood, shattered by a guy with a straw hat and zero respect for divine egos. Skypier's so-called god got absolutely wrecked. Remember that insane moment in the Corridor Coliseum when Luffy straight up folded Hadrudin like a lawn chair? Yeah, that was wild. He didn't hold back either. Luffy pulled out that armament haki and gave the giant a real taste of power. And let's be honest, you don't take chances with a giant, especially not one like Hadrudin. Everyone expected Luffy, this mystery dude in a gladiator helmet, to get squashed like a bug. I mean, size matters, right? Wrong. Turns out, it wasn't Luffy who needed to worry. Hadrudin caught some ZS mid-fight, after one clean punch. Talk about flipping the script. That was the moment Hadrudin realized Luffy wasn't just some random fighter. He was different. He was the real deal. And that's exactly why Hadrudin would later swear loyalty to him, becoming one of the founding members of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, because in the world of One Piece, size doesn't win battles, willpower does. And if you get in Luffy's way, you're getting sent flying. Alright, on to the next savage moment. Remember when Luffy absolutely wrecked Hody Jones with one brutal kick? Yeah, that hit was so clean it probably shuffled every bone in his fishy body. Just another case of Luffy putting a so-called powerhouse in their place. Hody came in all smug, thinking he had the upper hand. But Luffy? Man didn't even flinch. He just delivered one devastating kick right to Hody's gut, and the look on Hody's face. Pure shock. This wasn't some random attack either, this was Luffy fresh off 2 years of intense training with Rayleigh, ready to showcase the results. Hody had no idea what hit him. 1 second he's talking trash, the next he is airborne, with that classic, what just happened, look. The same guy who'd been striking fear into a whole island got shut down mid-sentence. And in that instant, everyone watching knew this was a brand new Luffy. If you're loving these epic Luffy moments, make sure to drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a legendary flex from our favorite future pirate king. If there's one thing One Piece has drilled into us, it's that Luffy doesn't know how to quit. When he took a full-on Thunder Bagua from Kaido, yeah, that Kaido, one of the most powerful beings alive, you'd think it was game over. But nah, not even close. During the Wano arc, Luffy goes toe-to-toe with an emperor, convinced he's ready for the big leagues. Then reality hits, literally. Kaido swings that massive Kanabo, and Luffy's out cold in one strike. Most people would stay down after that. But not Luffy. He gets up again and again, each time stronger than before. He learns to master advanced Conqueror's Haki, leveling up to trade blows with Kaido like an equal. That's the turning point. It's not just brute strength anymore, it's about growth, willpower, and the heart of a future pirate king. The fact that Luffy eats a hit like that and still comes back swinging? That's peak One Piece. His resilience is legendary. No matter how many times he hits the ground, he always rises, and this time, Kaido's the one who's got something to fear. If there was ever a moment that screamed Luffy is that guy, it had to be when he casually dropped 50,000 fishmen with nothing but his presence. No punches thrown, no dramatic moves, just raw Conqueror's Haki doing all the flexing. As the Straw Hat stood face to face with Hody Jones and his massive army of 100,000, things looked overwhelmingly stacked against them. But then, Luffy stepped forward, locked eyes with the enemy, and boom, half of them collapsed instantly. The battlefield went dead silent. Even his own crew was stunned. And of course, Zoro being Zoro, just smirked and said, if he couldn't do that much, we'd need a new captain. This wasn't just some flashy flex, it was a statement. Luffy had come back from the time skip on a whole new level, fully tapping into his Conqueror's Haki. More than anything, it was a glimpse into his destiny. He wasn't just chasing the Pirate King's crown anymore, he was starting to look like someone who could actually wear it.
お前がどんなとこでどういう王になろうと勝手だけどな。海賊の王者は一人で十分だ!
Fishman Island wasn't just his first stop in the new world, it was the moment he let the world know he's not just another pirate. His royalty in the making. And let's be real, Hody never stood a chance. Gear 5 had awakened. Luffy became the literal embodiment of joy, freedom, and imagination. His devil fruit wasn't the Gomu Gomu no Mi after all. It was a mythical Zoan, the Hito Hito no Mi, model, Nika, the sun god himself. Kaido? The man who took everything seriously? He couldn't understand what was happening. Luffy was bouncing around like a cartoon, pulling Kaido's eyes out like rubber, growing giant, launching himself into the sky like a Looney Tunes character, and laughing the whole time, and somehow it was working. Kaido was taking real damage. The dude who everyone feared was being clowned. This wasn't just a power-up. It was a philosophy. Luffy showed that freedom, joy, and heart will always beat raw power. Gear 5 was a spiritual flex. A cosmic flex. The kind of flex only Luffy could pull off.
Monkey D. Luffy お前を超えて海賊王になる男だ!
Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.